How's it going, Dylan? I'm currently shoveling food in my mouth real fast before we start. They better fix this audio problem before they start. I don't want that. That's for sure. Mm-hmm. How's it going, Harley? Thank you. I feel like this is an automated message. We're starting to worry Harley's a bot, which is mostly a joke. We're doing well. Today's an awesome day. The excitement is real in 3 minutes. This is the game I've been waiting for 20 plus years. And today I'm expecting a release date. So I'm pretty excited. You wait for me for 20 odd years? Aw, Dylan. Oh, my man. Making that heart feel good. Making that heart feel good and kind of strange. How are you guys doing today? 2 minutes. So for the 4 or 5 of you that are here that normally don't see these with me, I'll be quiet a lot to let the man speak because I don't want to interrupt him. If I interject, it'll be about bad gameplay design that I'm not happy about, 5e mechanics at the breaking, or I'll make, you know, joyous squeeze because I'll be excited for something. You tried to Call of Duty last night, you did terrible? Well, I mean, don't feel bad, it's a bad game. Oh, this audio is so bad on their end. Larry needs to get better streaming people, because they always have bad video and bad audio when they're doing this stuff. I don't know why. You would think a developer that's done, you know, 2 of the best RPGs in the last 10 years and of all time could have a better streaming content creator on staff. Yikes, Harley. I can't say much. That might be better than me? I don't know. It might have my volume all the way down and it's still loud as hell. That's tough. You're not lying. That's a very tough thing. Don't be afraid to tell me to turn up the audio if it gets too low. Right now the music's just playing. I will turn it up again once it's not blowing on my eardrums. And if it's not too loud, if it's too loud for you, I'll just turn down my sound. Or too quiet, I should say. It's Shh. Shh. This is supposed to be the full trailer, so they showed us 2 parts so far of the full trailer. This is everything now. This will be all 3 parts. So you've already seen this stuff. At least you should have already seen this stuff. If you haven't seen it, it's fucking beautiful. Oh, that's fine. Yeah, if you're playing a best of series and the team was better than you, that's not a big deal. The delays need to stop. I don't like the skips. Come on. Ah. Is this it? This is the new part. That dude is me. But they've already confirmed that this town's not Baldur's Gate that they're destroying. It's a town, they said like 500 miles west of Baldur's Gate. I can't remember its name off the top of my head. I still can't get over the fact that red dragons from Tiamat are what's trying to save the day. Like, it's so bad. Badass? I'm assuming another god's helping in the move between planes? Because I don't know how else they'd be doing that either. Oh boy. I hate you, Chris, so much. Oh, this is new. Love it. I'm good. That's all I need to see. Give me that and the date. I'm done for the day. Oh.
And there you go, everyone. Welcome to the panel from hell. I'm Jeff Keighley. A big day for Baldur's Gate 3, and we have a lot of information to guys about the game. But first of all, we started with that incredible CG. You've seen some of that before, but of course the end was brand new with the world premiere of the full CGI intro for Baldur's Gate 3. And from the looks of it, as you saw right there, we are going to hell in this game, and we're going to learn a lot about that reveal and so much more today. But we're not going to hell alone. I've got some special guests for this panel to give you all the inside scoop on early access for BG3. I'm joined by Mr. Larian himself, creative director Sven from Larian, of course, and also D&D unicorn Chris Perkins from Wizards of the Coast, and Larian's legendary writer Adam Smith. Guys, I have to say, Chris, I guess you didn't get the memo about the set here. It's like these guys.
No, I did not. I'm feeling a little set envy.
This is my
Sven's
best.
he's got his armor. I mean, Adam's got the lights. I love it. You guys are full on method. It's a big day for BG3 fans. We've been waiting for details on early access, and I've seen the rundown, guys. Don't worry, we are going to get a date out of these guys by the end of the stream. They promised me. But first of all, let's talk a bit about the game. What was just revealed, Sven? The journey in Baldur's Gate 3 will actually start in Avernus, which is the first layer of hell here. Tell us a bit about what we just saw and how that's going to tie into the game.
Yeah. So hi Jeff and hi everybody. So we are in a lot of trouble. We were kidnapped. We were snatched by these mind flayers, these alien creatures. They put us aboard this nautiloid. They put a tadpole through our eye, so that's already not very pleasant. Then they were chased by dragons. They tried to escape from these dragons. They decided it was a really good idea to go to hell, to Avernus, the first layer of the 9 hells, to try to escape these red dragons. But these red dragons managed to follow them. But not only that, they managed to teleport themselves right into the middle of a big conflict between devils and demons. And so me, as a player, I'm going to try to figure out, as a level 1 character, how the hell am I going to get out of here? And so our journey begins in the middle of the Blood War. And the Blood War is a big thing in Dungeons and Dragons. And
that's
as a matter of
confirmed,
fact, actually, Chris recently, together with his colleagues at Wizards of the Coast, released a book about that, which was Descend into Avernus.
Yep.
Oh, there's the book itself. Tell us about it.
No. It's at the end of Descent into Avernus.
So
the end of it.
War, for those who don't know, is this eternal.
But that's the tie-in to Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, is that Ball and Ball Spawn and the Blood War is happening.
Creatures of entropy that want
which
to destroy
Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 kind of led up to.
Devils who are evil subjugators and overlords who want to control everything. And that in and of itself doesn't sound like a bad thing until you realize that the Blood War tends to spill all over the place and onto other planes, pretty much anywhere. And so it's really just kind of bad for everybody.
Of course he picked it up, because that's the prequel. Avernus is the confirmed prequel to Baldur's Gate 3.
And is not to end anytime soon.
All right.
Yeah.
And so,
and as far as hell is concerned,
He's
so
awkward.
if you don't know much about the 9 hells, there are 9 layers of the hells, and Avernus is the topmost layer. And that is where demons are constantly invading and devils are constantly trying to repel them. And so it's
I need
this
his headset.
tireless, ageless battleground.
The red and black
corpses
design. I like
and
it.
Shattered remains of flying citadels,
Raise
like
them?
we saw in the introduction. And
in Descent into
really
Avernus, so we talk about in Descent into Avernus, there's a cataclysmic event where the Blood War does spill over into Faerun, and it's a city called Elturel, which is actually dragged into Hell. This all happens in Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus, the D&D adventure module. When we started to build Baldur's Gate 3, we had to decide what actually happened to Elturel at the end of that adventure, because like any good adventure, like any good role-playing game, there's many different ways that story can go. In our story, Elturel is actually, it is saved, but that's not the end of it. It's a cataclysmic event. It has aftershocks that are still passing through the world. So when we regain control of the Nautiloid, we bring ourselves back to Faerun and we crash land. And we crash land somewhere between Baldur's Gate, which is on the west and the Sword Coast, and Elturel. And we're going to see the aftermath of Elturel's descent. There are trains of refugees traveling through this area, and we're going to get caught up in their stories. We can help them, we can hinder them, we can get involved in their stories, but that's not our story. Our story goes back to this thing inside our brain. And if you could talk a little bit about that, the parasite, Chris, and what that's actually doing inside us right now.
Yeah, so mind flayers, they're awful, but mind flayers do not procreate the way most other creatures do. The way they procreate is through a process called seromorphosis, in which they implant this parasite into a humanoid host. And over time, the parasite transforms the host magically into a fully grown adult mind flayer. And it's an absolutely horrific and disturbing process. Once you become a mind flayer, of course, you don't have much in the way of memories of your past.
You turn in things.
You are basically one of them.
So, but this tadpole, of course, is a bit different. We already revealed a little bit about that. So as we start panicking and we figured out a way out of hell, we are going to try to figure out how the hell are we going to get rid of this tadpole that's inside of us. And as we're doing that, we'll learn things about the tadpole, and we'll learn that we actually don't have a lot of days left ahead of us. And then suddenly something strange starts happening. We start gaining strange powers. We start not transforming into a mind flayer, which is good, we think. And some of us in our party start thinking, like, maybe this infection is not such a bad thing. Maybe there's something to be said for it, because like for certain characters, it's actually solving problems that they have in life. And so there's a rift that appears in the party. Certain characters say like, well, we need to get rid of this thing. We can't leave it inside of us. Some say, well, maybe we should figure out first what's going on here. Maybe we can find a way of controlling it. And then others say, like, hell yeah, this is really cool. We should join the bad guys that are responsible for all of this. And it's at exactly that moment that hell comes back into the storyline, because a nice gentleman by the name of Raphael makes his action. And he introduces himself very rapidly as a devil. He's very open about it. And he says, well, look, I mean, like, I'm here to propose you a deal. And the reason why I'm proposing a deal to you is because you don't really care about your soul anyway, because you don't have a soul anymore. If you turn into a mind flayer, your soul is gone. So what do you have to lose? And so what's cool is that...
You see Chris like cringing in the corner.
Multiplayer, when you have multiple players who are going to be confronted by Raphael, they get to decide what they're going to do. So, for instance, Chris, you could say, hell no, I'm never going to live with this tadpole. And Adam could say, well, hell yeah, I'm going to do that. And I could say somewhere in between. And so maybe Adam makes a pact with the devil so he can get the best of the tadpole.
I definitely would
transform into a mind flayer. And so
that is such a mistake. That
deals with the devil.
That would be a huge mistake. Yeah, deals with the devil.
I make a lot of mistakes, Chris. I make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
So the funny thing
it's
about
amazing.
No, go on.
Yeah. Obviously, you know, these devil, you know, the devil and the motivation. You know, you talked about sort of, you know, wanting your soul.
Who's
and these
Geoff
deals.
Keighley? And how do I get his job?
Why would you want to make a deal?
Well,
Just get to hang out on
very
fucking
young, I
FaceTime with
think
these
a lot of good
guys,
adventure begins with
or
curiosity.
whatever they're on Skype.
You know, I mean, I'm an expert on making mistakes, so I will take this. I may just be curious. I may just want to see what happens. I may be seduced by the devil. They're charismatic. But fundamentally, I have a serious problem.
Well, right, but what is he other than the
this
host?
devil
Like,
can help with the problem.
like what's his
But,
what's
Chris,
his
if you could just
job?
talk about what the devil wants in return, what do they actually want from me?
So, in
So
the
he's like
Nine
Carson
Hells,
Daly of video games
souls
then?
are the
Is what you're saying to
currency
me?
of the realm.
Or Adam
Uh,
Seacrest
for a devil
or
to
some
acquire a
douchebag
soul,
like that?
that's great for them because they can trade that soul in essentially to rise in power in the
Right.
the
I want to get paid to
hierarchy,
do this. That's my
that
point.
kind of rules the Nine Hells. So that's really what they want: souls, souls, souls. And in order to get them, though, they have
I'll do it
to
for free.
corrupt them first. They can't just
I'll
grab
do it for
anybody's
fucking
soul.
free. Don't you get
They
paid? I
have
don't
to
even get paid.
lead someone down a path where they keep making bad decisions, evil choices, and so that when they die,
I
their
know that,
soul
Dylan.
naturally goes to the Nine Hells. That's what the devil wants to happen, and so they're always orchestrating events to try to make that happen. And they can do it through
Events.
seduction, they can do it through deception. However
Why
they
lean
want to
in,
do it
dude?
is fine.
Why
But
lean
that's
in?
their end game.
Speaking of
So-
decisions and choices, we're going to see a lot of gameplay today, and of course, at the heart of these games is decision and choice for the players. We're going to talk a bit about Crusher, who will be returning here for some interactive moments throughout the stream. Adam,
Well, somebody
why
needs
don't you
to
tell us a bit
assassinate
about
him so I can assume his identity.
Crusher and Crusher's role.
So I want to be that guy.
Yeah, so we're going to move away from devils briefly and look at a situation some of you may have seen before. We're going to see different aspects of that. So, as a big shout out to the BG3 subreddit, you guys know I love goblins, I love you. This is a scene where we've actually become friends with some goblins. We've actually gone into an encounter of goblins and we're interacting them in a friendly way. We've not gone in bashing their heads. We've decided, hey, let's play cool with them. So we're at a party, we're having a good time. We're having a real good time with these goblins. But then we Crusher. And Crusher's obnoxious, he's unpleasant, he's the guy he's the death of the party. So we're going to meet him and we're going to see how this interaction goes, I think, now, yeah?
Take a look.
This is what they wanted to show us last
By the
time,
way,
but we didn't do it.
Nick is joining us again. He's going to be driving the gameplay here and then lead us all the way to Crusher. And then you guys are going to get to make the decisions. Now, while he's doing that, can I just do like a big shout out? Try to make different decisions than you did last time, community. So try to not make the same decision, so you can see how this pans out differently. It's up to you. I mean, like, but I would sincerely advise you to go in a different direction.
Rest his arm with me bare hands. Weaker than pixies, humans.
Oh, you got him good.
And who are you? Another pest? Dwarves. Think you're
It's a swole magic man dwarf, Dylan.
Everyone says that. And then they spit in our faces. But no more. It's a changing. We got the absolute on our side now. You better learn your place. Go on.
That's my king.
Or I'll wipe that nasty look right off your face.
End him or leave him. But don't you dare grovel to this slug.
All right.
Do I need to rip your ear shells off? You heard me.
There's our choice. 4 options. So in the chat, you guys can select which one we should actively choose here, and then we'll come back a little bit later in the stream and see how this sequence plays out based on the community. But guys, which one would you suggest the audience pick? Let's sway them out of the 4 options here. Let's start with you, Chris.
I've got a bit of a rogue temperament, and I'm kind of tempted by whatever that is on his foot there. So I'm of a mind to go with option 1.
Ugh. Ugh.
Sven?
And, oh, go on, Sven.
All right. No, go ahead, Adam. Adam, I go ahead.
Well, I already said I'm a friend to all goblins, so I'm kissing that goblin wherever he wants to kiss.
What the fuck is wrong with these people?
I'm intent on showing players a different outcome than they picked last time. I'm pretty sure they're going to pick exactly the same thing they picked last time, because that's how people are. But in the case that they want to follow my advice, I would suggest they would spit in his face. I mean, like, I think that's a very powerful move. On top of that, Lizelle is going to approve of this. So I would just go for spit him in the face.
All right. Well, 3 of the 4 options have been selected. You guys, again, vote in the chat, and then we'll come back in a few minutes and we'll play out the sequence with your choice, and this will continue on kind of throughout the stream. While we tally results in the chat, wanted to ask you guys on just development of BG3, how things are progressing on the game. Obviously it's been a difficult year for all of us, and especially game developers working from home in this COVID pandemic world. So Sven, wanted to ask you, like, how is development going? We know we're going to get an early access date out of you guys, hopefully by the end of the stream here. What's it been like to make BG3 this year? Are things progressing as you'd like?
Yeah, it's going. I mean, like, the question how development is going ever since we started on this. I think I had the guys from Wizards ask me like continue, how's it going? How's it going? How's it going? So I'll be very happy that we can say, well, actually we have something to show now, so that you can actually go and play, and then I think people will like. So, but it's going. It's slower than we had hoped, of course. But we're getting there. We got pretty much all of our content in there. We managed to get our recording studios back online, which was a big thing. So they're going to be recording the final bits this month. So that's good. We are making progress. Work from home. Luckily, we have studios scattered around the world. So several of them are booted up again. So we're working at 50-60% capacity. So that's also really good.
Yikes.
So we're in a good shape to actually push this thing through and get it into the hands of players, so that at least they can start fooling around with early access. We would probably already actually have been able to ship early access if we hadn't fallen into some of our old traps. One of these is our ability to underestimate exactly how much we have to add. It seems like we have this counter where we see like, okay, these are the amount of dialogues in the game, this is the amount of dialogues that are recorded, this is the amount of cinematics that are finished, and that counter is supposed to go to 100%, and then we can ship the early access content. But I think this counter has been doing it, went from 70 to 80 to 90 to 80 to 70 to 60 to 70 to 80 and so forth. And recently it's been trying to get to 100%, and it's been hovering around 95% since forever. And so that has everything of course to do with the fact that for each dialogue we write, 2 new dialogues pop up as edge cases appear. Right, Adam?
Yeah, first of all, sorry. Second of all, there are multiple reasons for this. This is the first game that the scale that I've worked on, and one of the things that we are very, very keen to do is to make sure this world is as reactive as we can possibly make it, because that benefits all of you when you play. So as we build a situation, as we build a quest, as we build a dialogue, what we find is that somebody within the team or somebody within a different department might say, well, I'd love to be able to do that, or I'm going to approach from this angle, or I'm going to break the timing of this and the chronology of it. And we don't say no, we say yes, and then we adapt to that, and we make sure that the dialogue makes sense, that the way the world reacts makes sense, and that it remembers what you did. And that just adds complexity onto complexity, and it makes for a really, really satisfying experience. And the other part of that is that if somebody has a really cool idea, then it tends to find its way into the game. And we have a lot of really smart people who have really good ideas, and those ideas do end up in the game on the whole. And
Yikes.
It goes further than that. Sometimes we have a very small idea, and it blossoms, and it grows, and it ends up in the game. And I think Sven has a particular example of something that really demonstrates this. And yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. I got this real cool button that I'm gonna hit right now for the first time. like, I think I hit the right one. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, you know, I like a good world premiere. There you go.
Yeah, hold on. Wait until you'll see until you see my other button.
He's so awkward.
We're a company
I
that
love
iterates
it.
a lot, as Adam said, and we give a lot of room for what is a good idea. So a couple of weeks ago, and this is literally only a couple of weeks ago, and I picked this example specifically because of that. One of our scripters transformed something that was a piece of scenery into an interactive object. And so we do these regular reviews of the content, and we're looking at this thing that's pretty cool. And so then the interactive object became a situation. And so we looked at that situation and said, oh, that's really cool. And then that situation became a scene where you can recruit a follower. And it said, whoa, this is really, really cool. And then now there's an entire movement within the company trying to make this follower into a companion, which is where I said, okay, stop. All right. So we're not going to start doing, otherwise we're never going to end. But it's a very cool example of how the game gets better, how it gets evolves pretty much like a tabletop campaign would go together with the players.
How's it going,
in
buddy?
this case, the players are the developers. And it's also something I'm very proud of what the team did.
I got a follow from you too?
Literally have to
Man,
realize
look out.
what you're about to see right now, 2 weeks ago, did not exist.
Arthas Silverblade,
And
huh?
it was just a stupid object somewhere sitting on the line of a nautiloid. So I'm going to hit my button again, and then we're going to have a look at, there's my button again. Our lobotomy scene.
That voiceovers, it's crazy. No, you're good, man. What's this? Is this what she got free? It's gotta be what she got free.
You've come to save us from this place. From this place, you'll free us.
The exposed brain.
But it's not dark
quivers in
enough, guys.
excitation.
Please.
It's not dark and gruesome enough,
Before
guys.
they return. They return. A newborn. Born new from this husk.
You realize you're talking to an intellect devourer, a minion of the mind flayers who abducted you.
Oh my.
Remove us from this body. From this case. Free us. Please.
Break the skull. I like that. Obviously, I don't like those
You
dice roll. I like it a lot.
edema, a swelling of the brain causing pressure where it strains against the shell of the skull.
They're probably planning on it. That's what they always do. It builds into the hype machine.
The brain lifts from the skull, but you notice an opportunity. You could cripple the strange creature, making it more
Yes.
subservient should it prove a threat.
You're gonna make it a companion. That's awesome. Or a follower. Oh yeah.
Creature seems unaware of your interference. It relaxes in your hands.
We are free. Our freedom is ours, friend.
The creature pauses, listening. Something behind your eyes seizes in recognition.
We must go to the helm. At the helm, we are needed. Us. We are us. To the helm we go. We are going to the helm.
Why is there multiple identities in the one brain?
All
That's
right,
amazing.
Well, we got to find out a little bit more lore about this friend, the intellect devourer. Chris, tell us about it.
Chris, he's just disgusted.
First of all, that was super gross, but also awesome. Intellect devourers are creatures made by mind flayers out of the brains of humanoids. The mind flayers have arcane rituals that they can cast upon the brain and then transform it into the creature that you saw. Now, what's dangerous about an intellect devourer, once it's been created, is it itself has these psychic powers and can psionically or psychically bombard you, causing your brain essentially to turn to slush. And then once it has destroyed the brain in your skull, it teleports into your skull, replaces your brain, and basically operates you.
What's Sweat doing?
Sven's got one right there.
Operating a puppet.
I got it. I'm trying to eat it, but my armor is stuck. I got this awesome stuff from our props department, and so hold on, because it gets better. We're now selling them on shop.larian.com.
No way.
Like this you can have little intellect devourer. I'm kidding. It's not true.
Oh, is that anyone? Anyone right now?
I interrupted you. Sorry.
No, that's totally cool. So,
dude, it's never been for
obviously
kids.
Disturbing is you could be talking to somebody
It can
and
be,
realize that their brain has been replaced with an intellect devourer, and they're basically you're into a meat puppet.
Not me though.
So,
all right.
I just love all the people who are like, oh, it's not dark enough. Oh, it's not gruesome enough.
Yeah. So
oh, it's not mature enough.
Actually, because of the tadpole,
Larry just goes like this to you. Like, that's all they do. They're just like, yeah, you think so, huh? And that's just them all the time, and I love it.
You can command them. They can try to command you, so you got this entire interaction going on with them. But just going back to what I said before, I thought it was pretty amazing that the team managed to pull off this scene so fast. And it goes to show what we've been doing all these years as we've been working on BG3. We made this gigantic, how shall I call it, situation production machine, where if somebody comes up with a great idea, they can put it into the game fairly fast, link it to everything in there. They got a whole bunch of tools that support them. Because now that because that's what its name is in the tutorial, other characters had to react to it. Is it present in your party? Is us following you, so they need to start reacting to that. So that's the permutations that Adam was talking about. And that came about really fluently when you looked at it, how the development of it was going. And it goes from, I mean, this started with scripting, a writer jumped on it, then the entire art team jumped on it together with the animators.
The biggest thing is if they make that a companion, that means you can play as it, essentially.
There's a lot of talent in just making that little scene that needs to be there. And I just find it amazing that
which is probably why it's only be a follower. But imagine if it becomes a companion.
The has come actually.
Then you have to be able to play as it. That's their thing. Is every companion you can play as.
2017. So
that'd be cool, like DLC.
A huge machine that can support lots of choices, and we're heavily.
As much as I know Larian's against DLC, that'd be awesome DLC.
Never-ending content, but yeah, that's a fun sequence, and obviously you guys have been building so much content that we're going to talk about. I mean, the amount of stuff that's in early access, we'll get to it, but I'm pretty blown away with what you guys have put together. So let's check in with our friend Crusher now and see what the audience wants to do next. We have the results of the poll in, and it looks like 41% of you picked to intimidate him with how about you kiss my feet instead. So
Sven's so pissed off.
But the audience, let's take a look.
Yeah. Again, the whole model part is Larian's always been super open source. It's all about what Wizards will allow. If Wizards allows it, it's gonna be fucking super open, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. Oh, they failed this time though.
That's exactly what they deserve for not listening to me.
You ain't got nothing on me, so kiss my foot.
I suggest an apology.
I do too.
Oh no. A long lick? Come on.
Read what you did, Nick.
Right.
Please lick the foot. Lick the foot.
All right,
lick
the next
foot.
choice there. 4 more options. So again, in the chat, take your pick there.
Lick the foot.
How you want to kiss the foot, and then we'll follow that up in a second and see what people select.
Steal that ring.
All right, so we've seen a glimpse of Avernus, goblins, intellect devourers. a lot of folks watching this, I think, want to know early access. We're going to get a date out of you, but also like the content of a. What can we expect in terms of the scale and scope of what you're going to put out into the world for players to play around with, Sven?
I'll take this actually.
Okay, Adam. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm going to take it, Sven. I think that, as you say, you've already seen, just for early access, you've got multiple planes of existence. We're showing you Avernus. We're then taking you to Faerun, and when you get to Faerun, you're going to see dungeons and dragons, which you might expect. You're going to see temples. You're going to see a big chunk of gameplay on the surface world. A lot of it we haven't shown yet. You'll get to meet those goblins. You'll get to meet a lot of other people as well. And we've already teased the Underdark. He will be going to the Underdark. There's a lot to see. There's a lot of secrets and mysteries down there. There's a lot of danger down there as well.
No shit.
You're going to meet a lot of different characters. Some of them you may recognize if you're a D&D fan. You already met Volo previously, and he made a brief cameo, I think, earlier today for an eagle-eyed who spotted him. But you will meet lots of different characters, many different characters. You're going to see different factions, of which you'll recognize, some that we've invented ourselves. And of course, there's going to be a lot of monsters on the server and the Underdark. And those monsters include...
Yes.
World premiere.
Monsters.
A bullet. Now, Chris, could you tell us what a bullet is?
No.
Yeah. A
We're level
bullet
1.
is a terrifyingly large monster.
We're level 1.
Sometimes goes by the name land shark. And what it does, as its name suggests, is it burrows under the ground just below the surface, churning up the earth as it goes while it hunts. And then when it sees something it wants to eat on the surface, it bursts up out of the ground to chomp on it. And it's big and terrifying. That's all I'll say.
I mean, you have so much content in EA. I know we were talking earlier. You thought it would be 20 plus hours of stuff for folks to play around with. So lots of stuff to it. And I think people probably want to know also about the classes, like what classes are going to be available, what level will we be able to reach in early access. Can you give us any kind of details there, Sven, on what we can expect?
My friend.
Yeah and no.
They already exist.
Since we're still building the early access content, we're still
just so you know,
slightly hesitant to announce all of the classes that are going to be in there. But I think that we should be able to cover at least a few of them. Chris, what do you play actually for the moment? What is it? What would you play?
So I
BG3?
often play rogues. I'm also a fan of fighters, and I like rangers because they're in touch with the primeval natural world.
All right.
Those are my favorites.
Well, we'll have all of those covered, so that's already something.
Oh.
And there will be more. So we'll have a selected, we'll have a action of classes.
I think they've said no to Paladin already once.
We'll have quite a few races, quite a few sub races. We don't know exactly how many are going to be.
I think Paladin, Druid, Warlock,
we are going to allow you to create your
and
own
Monk are the
character.
ones that aren't there yet.
So when you'll see character
everything else
creation,
is.
we should be presenting it soon
Barbarian
enough.
2 is not there yet. They
You
said.
will see you get a lot of customizability. As a matter of fact, later on the stream, we'll show a bit of gameplay that I just or stumbled upon by fooling around in character creation and like just picking an option and said, oh my god, I start with that and now I can do that, and that is really cool. So you'll be able to create a wide selection of custom characters. And we'll let you in early access play up to level 4. Now, before you go saying, what, only level 4? Level 4 in Dungeons & Dragons is actually quite a lot already. Can you maybe help us explain that, Chris?
Sure. Well, the good news is that you're not as frail as you were when you were level 1, so you can take a bit of punishment. But more importantly is once you get to level 4, you've already made some key character-defining decisions. For instance, your class, you've chosen a subclass, which is sort of like a way to specialize within your class. Then? And not only have you chosen a subclass, but you've probably had the option to choose a feat, which is a mechanic that lets you further customize your character and gives your character access to new ability.
Please confirm them right now.
And so, and obviously, if you're a spellcaster, by the time you hit 4th level, you're starting to get some fairly interesting spells.
Confirm feats. Do it.
Even at level 4. Yeah, I was going to say, you're still going to struggle when we throw a land shark at you. you're still going to get shot.
Yes.
But
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. It's telling
you travel.
when you said feats, you've seen it
In
instantly.
early access, there are 5 companions that you can recruit that you'll meet during your journey. I'll briefly mention who they are.
But obviously, Chris is expecting them though in game, so that's a good
here's
thing.
A quick rundown. So there's Will. He's a human warlock who might feel either very at home or very alarmed by where I am right now. The Shadowheart, who's a dark cleric on a mission from her goddess.
Cleric.
Larian, who's a very unusual character. He's a vampire spawn, so he has some unique mechanics.
Larian's a rogue.
A Githyanki warrior, who you see in the
warrior.
CGI intro. You see the Dragon Riders there as well. She's not with that group, but they are other Githyanki. So she knows a lot about mind flayers, so she's a very interesting character. And there's Gale. And Gale's a human wizard who has more things going wrong inside him than just a tadpole. But we'll say no more about that.
Right, 100%.
Now, with all these companions, I think everyone wants to know, can friends play companions? Are we going to get multiplayer in, at least in EA?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, not instantly. So we'll introduce it to play as one of the origin characters later on. That will give people the opportunity to get to know the companions from a third-person point of view, if you want, just by recruiting them. Gotta say, depending on which companions you pick, we talked about permutations earlier, you'll get a completely different experience. Like if you, for instance, if you take Shadowheart and Lysel, they can't stand each other, so that gives you completely different dynamics than if you take characters that actually like each other. So you should be able to have a lot of fun fooling around with these things. And we will have multiplayer in there, so you will be able to play with a party of up to 4. You'll be able to play online, you'll be able to play in LAN. We won't have split screen available from the get-go, but that will be added at some point during development also. So there's going to be quite a lot of things that you can fool around with, because between the choices that you'll have and the race choices that you'll have and the choice of companions that you can have, that's already when you start adding up all the permutations and you see what it means in game to have made those choices. That's already a lot of content that is going to be present in there.
Yeah. You talked a little earlier about still figuring out quite what classes will be available at EA. I mean, it's like there's still things to be done, but I know we're going to pin you down on a date by the end of the stream, you promised. What is there left to do kind of between now and when you let the world in for early access on the game?
Right. So I don't think we're going to add much more characters like us last minute anymore. So that was just really because they were still working on the tutorial area. I have to say the tutorial area is not finished yet, so we need to finish that one. We got the Act 1 that Adam talked about, that's done. So all the content is there. We're still balancing. There's some assets like the bullet that we talked about earlier on. Right now it looks like a bear because it's using the placeholder for bear, but soon
which
is
terrifying when it comes out of the ground.
It's pretty cool actually. It chases you around the Underdark, so it comes out at the most inopportune of times. So it's a rather interesting encounter, especially because it mingles with other encounters and you don't know when it's going to happen, and it's like it freaks the hell out of you.
That sounds awesome.
You're almost dead, and then suddenly the bullet is there, and you say, "No!" So we'll see how that works in early access if people hate it or not. But we're doing play tests now. Actually, we have a bunch of people that are going to be passing by in the next couple of days, and so that will be going on until early access.
Well, he's also bad at games. That's the thing.
Against them, we'll get rid of
so
those
bad at games.
obnoxious UI things that might be in there that we have overlooked. So we'll try to fix the most prominent bugs. And then the last bit that is really, if there's one thing that at this point I think might cause a slight delay, in addition to the date that I'm about to announce.
Oh my God! Here's the asterisk.
It's the asterisk. It's the optimization. So the game is coming out for both PC and Stadia. We want to get the minimum specs fairly low, so that a lot of people can already start fooling around.
That's good to hear for you guys that have low specs.
There's a bunch of optimizations that need to happen, and optimizing is a very special profession. In the sense that every single time you optimize something, only then do you discover what the next thing is that you have to optimize. So these guys are literally driving blind in the realm of obstacles of optimization. So they're feeling moderately optimistic. I mean, I had a lunch with them today, and they were in a good mood, so that's good, because usually they're panicking. So we'll see how it goes. So it's looking okay, and I'm optimist by nature, so I'm just going to stick to that, and so I hope that everything is going to work out.
I was going to say, we still get data. Don't pull the date at the end. We need to get dates.
No.
Obviously, there's so much to this. We will give you guys a date. Don't worry. But Sven's always super honest with everyone about stuff. So yeah, we want to talk a bit more.
They're probably still working on the date right now.
Gameplay of what you're going to get in early access on Act 1. But before we do that, let's check back with Crusher to see what you guys picked. And based on the last prompt, it looks like 65% of you picked to kiss his foot and attempt to steal.
Oh yeah, I'm sure
ring.
they are.
So we're about to see a.
And me being the gamer I am, I want them
down.
to say, "Fuck your spec questions. We're making the best game we can make. We'll figure that out at the end." But I understand why, as people, when it comes to money, can't have that answer be acceptable.
Social distancing option as well.
Ah, he failed again.
Good.
That's what you get.
You deserve all of that. You didn't listen to what I said.
Catch a whiff of lavender. It gives way to the muddy taste of something better left without description.
He's trying to suck the ring off his toes. Oh, come on now. Come on now.
You stinking thief! I'll rip your fingers off.
You tried to suck the ring off his toe.
Doing that. All right, now Nick is going to have a lot of fun trying to get to the next section. Let's see if he's going to manage to do that. So there's as we're looking at this disaster in the making.
So yeah, when you do choices, Dylan, it rolls the die for you, just so you can get that immersive feel of D&D.
Well. Although Nick, I mean, like
some people don't like it. As a D&D player, I love it.
To get something sorted out. I wanted to chat about something as we'll let Nick in the background do combat. I wanted to chat about something that we didn't talk about yet. Is how the early access content of Original Sin 2 compares to Baldur's Gate 3. Actually, it's a bit I wanted to talk about to give you an idea of exactly how much is in there. Can we? You can. Are we going to watch the entire combat? You can cut away, I think, from it. It will take some time.
Let's let Nick deal with that on his own.
Yeah, I think that's going to be.
But I know there's so much stuff. We were talking earlier about like the amount of dialogue and stuff in this early access compared to previous early access. Like there's a lot of content, right?
Thank you, Jeff. I wanted to drop that because I.
Dylan is a lifetime DM. He plays like 5 games a week.
Impressive, actually, when you look at it.
Online, usually too.
Baldur's Gate 3 early access has 80 potential combats compared to 22 or 2 as early access version.
That's
the
4
dialogue
times.
Lines in Original Sin 2, we had 17,600 lines in all of Act 1. We have 45,980 lines at the moment in BG3.
Oh my god.
Look at the amount of spells and actions that are available from the get-go in early access. So for those 2, that was 69. And here we'll have 146. And then when you look at the amount of characters, and that's by far the most impressive one, in Original Sin 2, it was 142 characters that you encountered in Act 1. And here we have 596 in BG3's early access version.
What?
So I'm saying these numbers because it doesn't mean that you're going to play that much longer when you're going to play the early access version of BG3 compared to those 2, but it's just testimonial to the amount of choices that you're going to get to make, because you won't have to do those 80 fights. It really depends on what choices you made. You will never see 46,000 lines of dialogue.
It's crazy.
It really depends on which paths you took, which class you selected, which companions you had, and so forth, which choices you made.
So I put 300 hours in early access of DOS2.
I thought Boss 2 was a very intellectually challenging.
I have no idea how many hours that is going to be for me.
But then when you look at BG3, it's like it's so much. It's with such a higher level. I mean, I think Adam, maybe you can chat a little.
I may not have enough time
what that means on
to play the early access long enough before Cyberpunk comes out.
Yeah, I mean the number is important, obviously, but really what's important is that they're interesting, that they're quality, and that they
fucking
are
amazing,
responsive to the way you play. So we don't want to deliver 45,000 lines of dialogue to you as a speech. We want you to discover them. We want you to interact with them. We want these to feel like conversations. So you're going to get on a playthrough the ones that feel right for your playthrough. And I'm going to do something that I'm going to implore you all.
It's amazing though.
We know that most people tend to be good people when they play CRPGs. It's the metrics show us that. What I'm going to ask you to do is, if you play early access, use as an excuse to do the bad thing. I want you to be
Is that real?
the worst version of
You guys
yourself.
picked the good option? I never picked the good
Some
option.
of my favorite situations.
I'm always the asshole.
You may not even speak to.
Give me power,
if you
give me
don't
glory,
try those evil routes.
give me
You
money.
don't want this to be you clicking the hero button or you clicking the villain button. We don't want it to be like that. We want the world to react to the things you do, and we want you to have.
I need this in my life.
So if you're doing something terrible in this game, you can probably justify.
See,
it
I'm not.
because
I'm
you're
not
in that
Paladin Heart.
situation. But you can also just
Ask Dylan what I am. He'll tell you.
bad. And when you're going to meet some of these, how many characters? 596. Some of those characters you can speak to. Some you just kill if you're playing the good option.
I'm an anti-hero at heart.
Some of them have a really interesting.
The reluctant hero is what I am at heart.
Be evil just this once, but be good in your lives.
Early access is a really good
Love it.
opportunity for this.
Love it.
It is.
I was gonna say.
It's a good place to explore these things. Yeah. And this all goes back to us approaching this game and trying to be as close as we can to like your digital DM. And I think, Chris, this is something that is true
I'm a
for
monster?
Dungeons & Dragons and tabletop role playing in general.
Am I a monster?
It's a place where people gang together. They want to be heroes sometimes, and sometimes they just want to burn the world, right?
Oh, we lost Chris there.
Lost Chris's audio.
Oh
for a
no.
second.
Oh no.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I was
Chris is-
muted.
Chris is
simply
a
because
hero.
my dog was barking. I'm sorry. So I muted myself.
Dude,
But
Chris's
I agree
face
wholeheartedly.
Looks like it hurts from the amount of smiling he's
since
doing
the
right now.
beginning.
That's
It's,
awesome to see.
It's good not to be evil because evil parties tend to implode, but once in a while, it can make the story go in fascinating
Come on,
directions.
start like in Space Jam. Thank you, Dylan.
Absolutely. It does.
One
You
thing
being in your
that,
mid-20s, I
we
think
talked
that's a huge
about
compliment.
Options, obviously, good versus evil playthroughs, but let's also talk about permutations and the further expanded set of options in the game. How is that going to work in the game in terms of permutations and choices?
So it
You wanna
begins.
take that, Adam?
Right.
Yeah.
Like you can
It-
actually see
it
like the
starts,
redness in his face from
for-
his
for
smile
us,
lines right now.
It's like we're inviting you into our world, into our campaign,
Which is
into the
awesome.
world of Dungeons and Dragons. And from the minute that you choose your class and your race, we're paying attention as writers and as designers. And the world's going to react to that. It's going to react to who you are at the beginning of your adventure. But more importantly, and the more complicated part is, it's going to react to the things that you do.
Chris should be wicked
Your
excited about
party's
this.
Going to react to the way that you behave. Your party's going to react to each other. They're going to have these complicated relationships that develop. What we want to do is we want the world to always be aware of you. So it's a lot of work to make sure that you get all that, and that's what we mean by permutations. We mean reactivity. We mean a world that makes you feel like you're really part of it, and that we've invited you in and we've let you play with it, and it will react to you, not just tell you its story. And it's a lot of work. And if you think of it from a DM perspective, we have this huge detailed world that we've created, all these different quests and storylines. And what happens sometimes is you invite somebody like Sven into them, and they do something that you didn't expect, and something which says, oh, you know what, I'm not going to engage with this stuff, I'm going to do something completely different. This is what Sven discovered the other day.
Yeah.
You want to tell me what you did, Sven?
I was fooling around with character creation, and I always want to see how I can break the game. That's pretty much my job description. And so I picked a ranger, and so I had a class passive that I could select. So I picked
Rangers confirmed. That's 6 then.
because I read that it's
That's
what's
6
going to
now.
give me a cantrip, which allows me to find a familiar, and I always liked familiar. So I said, well, I want a familiar, so let's try it out and see what damage I can do with my familiar. And I liked it because level 1 character here
With
I
familiars.
could go and get recruit that familiar. And so Nick, can you fire that up? The
Wait, you're getting the Ranger
Yeah,
familiar
go
right
now.
from the start, from level 1?
Yeah, all right. Nick has 2 machines that he's operating, so he's about to report on how his combat went. I think it went disastrous. So here
That's
you see
lazy.
him,
That's fucking
summoning a
lazy.
Spider. So he has a whole bunch of familiars that he could have picked. He could have picked a crab or a cat or a raven or something more interesting. But the spider is also pretty cool. And the thing is that he can then take control of the spider, and so that's the thing that I started fooling around with. And
It's being a purist ranger at heart. That's lazy.
And so I went with my spider and I listened in on conversations, and I went to look at what all the evil guys were up to. And the amazing thing was that in general, it actually worked. And so that was pretty cool. So I called, can you do a little jump, Nick? Because the spider has this really cool jump. And remember, the game of verticality. So just that ability, the ability to jump far as this spider, that alone already allows you to do a whole bunch of things.
You're breaking the game.
The spider can also cause mayhem. Can you go in and bite maybe? So this is a little bit further. There's a character called Shadowheart. She's one of your companions. So maybe bite her in her leg or something. There we go.
He critter.
Oh, shit.
Oh, critical hit.
Oh, she didn't feel it. Do it again, Nick.
Oh my god.
Oh, she doesn't react. She's supposed to react. Oh no, it's failing live.
There it is.
Oh, no. Oh, okay, so she is reacting. I guess she didn't feel it through her chainmail there. So things like we chatted actually after me doing it, and I said, are you going to put a leash on this? Because that's normally what a developer would do, right? They would say, oh, okay, well, you can't allow this to do. It's going to break the entire game. You have to make sure that you can maximum go 20 meters away or some silly rule like that. And so we looked at each other and I said, nah, we're just going to leave it in there. I mean, it worked for the most cases, so let's see if the scripters can make it work across the entire game. And so the one limitation that we put on there is that the spider can't go through doors. So that's it. They can't open doors. Obviously, they would be able to go through doors, but with them to do level transitions. But other than that, you can take your familiars. You can take a cat. You can send your cat somewhere, and then you can get the cat to... what's it called? Draw people's attention. It has a different name, but draw people's attention so that people start looking at the cat, which is great for your rogue as he's sneaking through somewhere in the dark. So all this systemic gameplay comes into play just by that one little choice, you know. I just selected beast taming. It gave me a cantrip. Find familiar. And now I have all these new options. So now imagine that you're playing in multiplayer and you're doing all these crazy things. And now imagine that you're the script.
Oh yeah, it's fun.
Think of all the permutations.
He also has this issue where he likes to break the rules. He releases too much content at one time. So like where he'll be, here's what you can talk about, here's what you can release that's new information, and then he's always like, oh, but what is this other huge thing that's not supposed to talk about for 5 months? I'm gonna talk about that. And he does it all the time. He gets in trouble for it. He's the fucking owner of the company. But it's like game designers and like the PR people yell at him all the time for it. It happened like dozens of times during DOS
wait,
2.
Well, let Chris explain it first. Can we jump?
Is that an Albert?
Yeah.
Was that an Albert?
We can't hear him. We're muted.
Why are we fighting an Albert at level 2 or 3 or 4? Whatever level.
You can hear me now, though, right?
What?
Yeah.
Yes. You're back.
So
yeah.
animal handling is a skill in D&D, and you use it to convince animals to do things. And it's not like you're communicating with them specifically. These are animals you're not talking to. You're just saying, okay, there's a horse over there that doesn't like me. I want to change its mind about me. Or there's a wolf.
And Albert is a CR3.
I'm going to try to persuade it not to, or maybe feed it some other food and convince it to leave me alone. Those are great uses for the animal handling skill. Whereas Speak with Animals, the spell, allows you to have a two-way conversation with a beast.
Yeah, and so when we were starting to prepare development for the game, we looked at animal handling, and we obviously had done a game in which you could speak with animals with Divinity Original Sin, and say, so what are we going to do? Are we going to put animal handling in, yes or no? Because it actually means we need 3 dialogues. And we need the dialogue when you click on an animal where you're just not handling the animal. We need the dialogue that you're handling the animal. We need the dialogue that you're speaking with the animal. So it means every single animal is going to come with at least 3 dialogues, not counting the permutations that are going to come out of this. And so then we looked at it and said, well, we have no choice, really. We have to do all of it. And so this is how we brought animal handling to the game, as many other things. And so we'll have a look at what animal handling looks like in the game. But first, I have a question for Chris. If you were to DM a campaign and somebody wanted to try animal handling on an owlbear, would you allow it?
Oh, yeah, I would allow it, because an owlbear, even though it's classified as a monstrosity in the D&D game as opposed to just an ordinary beast, it has a very animal-like brain.
So, like,
yeah, I would definitely allow it.
People who don't know Larian, they think the scope's this big, but like literally, it's the entire fucking room. And that's what I always love about Larian, is that they take a ripple in a lake, and all of a sudden it turns into the ocean, and it's fantastic.
Owlbears,
we're
spiders.
gonna see the owlbear, right?
We should see the
Oh, we're
owlbear.
gonna show it? Yeah.
We already seen the owlbear, yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay,
And
cool.
can we keep in mind as you watch
Halflings?
this that Chris just referred to this as a monstrosity?
So halflings, elves, and humans are right there.
Although it's
The
looking pretty.
owlbear
Well, you don't know what the role is
my
gonna be,
God,
Adam.
look at this.
Oh.
You feel the quake of its heavy foot.
It's still in IRL. Right. Oh no, it's well beyond the room. So trying to say it's a pebble in a lake compared to the ocean. That's kind of where I'm at with a lot of people.
Wow, this is cool.
He's gonna try animal handling now. So bear in mind, if he had speak with animals, he could have talked to it.
Yeah.
The
All
owlbear's
right.
one good eye flicks away for a moment. You follow its glance and see an owlbear.
Oh, man.
Kill them all.
Oh.
Kill them all.
Yep. So we're not going to spoil everything tonight. But the
Kill them all.
the Owlbear Cup, if you manage the situation really well,
I need the
it leads
experience.
up to multiple other situations in which you find that Owlbear Cup, and if you really play your cards well and your dice roll well, then you can actually recruit that Owlbear Cup in your camp, and then you can see the things that happen in your camp. Now, it wouldn't be BG3
He's so happy.
if what happens with the Owlbear Cup in the camp doesn't depend on what other animals you brought there. So the Owlbear
No,
Cup
see, I
could
need the
create quite a lot of
experience so I
havoc,
can
your
actually go beat
favorite
the big
pet
bad
dog
and
there
save the world.
Might be that
You know, what's the sacrifice
wake
of
up
one
in the morning and your
owlbear
favorite
in
pet
the
dog
grand
might
scheme
have
of the
had
greater
this
reality of the
accident.
world?
So these are things that you need to take into consideration as you're playing the game, but they're the cool, fun situations that roll out. And all of this is brought to you cinematically also throughout the entire game. And that's where
Did you ever play
not only
Dragon Age?
where those 45,000 lines of dialogue come
Arthas?
from, because we have yet another example of
Because I think of
things
as
that
enchantment
bloated
when I
our
think of the
dialogue
Owlbear
terms.
Cup.
And maybe you want to chat about that.
Oh, yeah.
Adam.
I was gonna say it's like
Yeah,
there's even
so
more,
you can-
right?
Yeah, no, like we thought if you can speak to the animals, you can do the animal handling, you can speak to all these different creatures, you can speak to goblins, you can speak to people.
Oh
you can
my
speak to
God.
Yankee, and then we thought,
So
well,
amazing.
there are other things that you can speak to in the world of Dungeons and Dragons, and that's dead things. So
Yeah,
we
I've seen this
also
already.
Allow you to speak dead because we didn't have enough dialogues already.
Yes,
and
agreed with you
thankfully,
100%,
Dungeons and Dragons does
Arthas.
have a rule for that. So speak with dead is implemented in the game. If Chris, you could just explain how that works in 5th edition.
But the enchantment
so-
from Dragon Age Origins
This
has
is
become like a running meme in my house for me and my
necromantic
wife.
energy, and it allows you to have
Yeah.
to ask questions, to 5 questions of a corpse. Now, the corpse needs to be relatively intact so that it has like a working mouth or something it can use to. That's one condition. The other, of course, is the corpse only knows things that happened prior to death. Its answer is somewhat limited.
Secure
the
connection,
corpse
buddy.
is not always necessarily friendly to you, and
Oh, come on.
as precise an answer as you want.
So when
Thanks.
we were
I-
implementing this,
Chris,
we-
you cut away from me there. Did
Oh,
you guys
okay.
hear Chris?
I'll-
I didn't hear him. You're back
Yeah,
now.
he created. He's back. He's back.
Okay.
Back alive.
Okay, I didn't. There's nothing wrong on my end. It was just something in the system, I guess. But I was going to say,
Yeah.
so Speak with Dead is a spell that lets you
Chris.
talk to a corpse, and you can ask it 5
because
questions. Go on.
They can't figure it out.
Yeah,
We're good?
sorry.
All right.
You're good. We
I'm
can hear you
using
now, Chris.
necromantic
So
energy
speak
to
with that.
communicate across the void. So
Alright.
it's 5 questions, and the head needs to be intact. And we could have gone the route of just making sure that everyone who died had their head explode, or you decapitated them. We didn't. So there are a lot of dead people that you can talk to in the game. And we've implemented as close as to D&D
Internet,
as
man.
as we
It's a
could,
bitch.
and we've got a pretty cool take on it, I think. And I think we can look at one.
Especially in
of the
America, where internet
Yeah,
sucks.
that is correct. So this is actually on the very beach where you will crash with your Nautiloid after you play the tutorial area. So we've shown this area before, but there's bodies lying there, and so he's going to take a scroll, speak with that, and then he's going to have a chat.
Which is a random corpse. That's cool.
And so
So every single random corpse will be able to speak to it then. Yeah, we do. I have a gig.
Fisherman.
Obviously, the
The crash came quick. Trying to help folk.
I personally wouldn't have wasted my scroll to this guy, Nick. I don't think that was a really good idea. But anyway, so again, we're not going to start spoiling things too much because we do want players to discover things for themselves. But so when you add all of these things, now suddenly that number of 45,000 starts making sense, especially when you then take all of the different types of playthroughs that you can have of the content. So it is a incredibly reactive game with a lot of choices that are made available to you as a player. In this particular case, Chris, which classes can you speak with that as? Because not everybody can speak with that, for instance.
Yeah,
my mind literally
just
is exploding right now,
really
thinking
handy,
about the amount of
cleric, for instance, is very
work
handy
and hours
with
and
debts
possibility
so if you have a cleric
that's
in the
there.
party, that's
Like
a good
it's
start.
insane.
Yeah. So that's another example of how which classes you have in your party actually define what gameplay options are going to be available to you. So and when the full version of the game is going to release, when we'll have all classes in there, it's going to become very, very hard to get out of character creation because you'll have to make some decisions that will have lots of ramifications as you go across the game.
Restartitis is real.
News from from Crusher, so it didn't end well.
What's the latest? What's the?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's fucking crazy.
So I'm picking up that he died miserably. All right, and
yes,
so he hasn't been able to get back into the situation that he. So we're not going to see the end of Crusher, unfortunately.
One day
so
of creating a character.
Bring me probably closer to one of the problematic things, which is going to be the release date, I guess. Is that correct?
Exactly. This was the awkward part of the stream, but we are going to do a Q&A at the end for the community as well. So if you guys have questions for these guys, that's your next interactive thing to do in chat. You're not going to get to pick the final question from all, but you can throw a question at these guys.
Beats.
So put those in the chat, and then at the end, we'll come back and do some
That's
Q&A
it.
with these
That's
guys
all I got.
well.
All I have left is
on
D&D
what
5e
happened. But yes,
mechanics.
we are going to talk about the early access release date in a minute here. But let's talk like philosophically about early access. You're here addressing many of the fans watching are folks that are going to be, I'm sure, jumping into early access. What does that kind of mean to you as a studio? Like how, early access is a term that people throw around in a bunch of different ways. And sometimes it's just, literally a marketing beta or something. I mean, I know that you guys treat this part of the development of the game. Can you maybe talk a bit, Sven, like philosophically?
Maybe.
About, like,
balance is what I'm worried about multi-class.
As a studio to get out of early access, you'll get feedback, sure, but like how is it going to affect the game and your approach to finishing it up to 1.0?
I like that you're asking me these philosophical questions with a brain in my hand, so it's really cool. So
to be or not to be.
So yeah, I know. So we did early access for Original Sin 1, and we liked it a lot because it helped us to make Original Sin 1 a much better game. So we went full in for Original Sin 2 in early access, and that made Original Sin 2 a much, much, much better game. And so we're hoping to get the same out of early access for BG3. So we're going to go into early access, and we intend to stay there for a while as we improve everything that our community doesn't like about it. Everything that we see is problematic, and the way we're going to do that is we're going to, and on the one hand, we're going to do a whole bunch of analytics, and on the other hand, we're going to listen to what the community is telling us. And so the analytics, we use tools for that show us things. I mean, I think we have some heat maps from Original Sin 2 that we can show. Is that correct?
Yeah, you show me this. This is so cool.
This is really cool. Yeah, I've seen these before.
Yeah.
So what are we looking at there?
So that's for those two. That's a heat map of the early access part of Act 1, and that's where people were dying. So if you play those two and you look at the lower part on the left side, there's a big red spot. That's a guy named Migo. Everybody who played those two will remember Migo because everybody pretty much died there. So we could see that everything was as it should be. And so if the entire map becomes red, it means that we have problems. If we see, and then typically we're going to lower the difficulty of a fight.
I want to know what this is right over here. What's this? What's that?
And we say, okay, this is too hard to find, so maybe we should give a little bit of hints, and then we modify the level design a little bit. So it's things like that. But then it's also things like, are spells being used? Or maybe we should promote a class and explain to people, well, you can do these things. Do they actually figure out that they can speak with the dead? Maybe they never figure it out because they don't think it would be possible. So we then tell them through a tutorial box, hey, you can speak with the dead. We spend like this amount of thousands of dialogue lines on it. Please try to speak with the dead. It's pretty cool. New gameplay options and so forth. So that's the analytic part, but then there's also the qualitative part where we just engage with the community, not necessarily directly on the forums, but we do read them, and then we use what they tell us to drive internal debate over how will we change things. Like one of the really big examples from Original Sin 2 was we had this thing called durability. People hated it vehemently. They really, really hated it. They like hated it intensely. And so they came up with a whole bunch of arguments, and so eventually we listened to it. We were stubborn, but we eventually listened and made a better game out of it.
Yeah.
And so hopefully the same thing is going to happen here with BG3, because it's certainly not easy to translate a rule book that's been around for some time, that has so much fans, into a video game, and then trying to do justice to the rule book, but also make sure that the video game is a lot of fun. So we have to find a very fine line in between there, and there's many, many possible interpretations. And so we came up with our interpretation, but now we'll let the community judge it.
Cough, cutting action,
they
cough.
come up with better ideas. Same thing like what you saw with the Intellect Devourer. We'll just adapt and we'll put it in there. I mean, in the end, it is about, I guess, creating a story with
reaction
the community,
spells,
creating a game together with the community, just like what we do, I think, Chris, right? So if you're creating your campaigns, you go along with what people tell you.
Exactly. D&D is a shared
that-
storytelling game. So the best ideas come from all around, you know?
Yeah,
Excellent.
And
So this is literally it.
yeah, well, I'm sure the community. But
I was just going to say, we know where our story's going, and we know the various terrible and wonderful ways that this story can end and the different places it'll take you to. But as
It's the ultimate DM line right here. I
we
love it.
want the audience to be part of that. And that
We know where we're going to end up.
me as
How
a
do we get
writer
there?
in Larian, you know, people play my work every day, people look at my work every day, and you become better through that. You become better by listening, you become better by engaging, and storytelling is very collaborative. So if there are characters, just as in a tabletop campaign, if there are characters that people particularly love or particularly hate, then we may notice that. And you know, it's already happening. We're not even in early access yet, but we see you guys talking, and we see the things that amuse you and that you're interested in, and you know, we do pay attention.
So it's
you know, many of the people. You're on, Sven.
no, you're on.
Many
Jeff.
people want to know, with the, you know, early access. Most people watching this stream, I'm sure, are folks that are likely to probably jump into EA. But who is early access for? And when you think of it, I mean, it obviously is not a finished game, but something that I know you want to get as many people in to play it. But in terms of setting expectations and kind of the audience for it, who are you targeting for early access, if there is like a prototypical player you'd want in early access?
So so I know who we're not targeting. It's the person who wants a finished, polished game. They should wait. They should just wait until version 1.0, because we'll work very hard on making it as polished as we can, but it's not that yet. Early access is for fans who want to have a quick look, like an early feel of what it's going to be like, and there's a lot of fun to be had. There's a lot of stuff to be seen already. So I think that's one group. And then it's also for people who really want to be part of development, who just want to give us as much feedback as they can, who will play over and over, and will just engage with us in the forums and just give us lots of data to look at, and also give us lots of ideas to work with. And so we had a lot of those in the past, luckily for both of the original sins. So we're hoping we'll see that with BG3 also. And it will be those people that will drive the game to become much, much better than hopefully it already is. I think it's already pretty good, but I know it can be that much better once people start playing it and we see literally, okay, well, we didn't think of that, we didn't think of that.
That's how humble he is.
It should not be there, that kind of thing. These fights are too hard. Hey, why did nobody ever think of this idea? Like, why didn't we put this in there? So when we put that group thinking into it, you will get a much better game, and we're committed to listening and integrating stuff. It will take us some time, of course. We can't just magic it out of thin air, but we will be listening and we will be integrating things that we see are make sense or we think are going to be good for the gameplay. Not everything, because we can't do everything, but a lot, for sure.
No, and the fact that you've got 20 plus hours of content in there, I mean, this is, a very, meaty experience for fans that they can't wait to jump into. And again, the production value looks incredible with all, the cinematics and dialogue and everything. So I think we're almost at that point, Sven, where I think you need to get that world premiere button ready, because are you ready to tell the world when early access is coming?
Yeah, I guess so. Hold on. That's
Oh no!
Tomorrow.
Oh,
Tomorrow.
Oh my God! This is too perfect. That's my cue to get out of here.
Let me try that again.
World premiere.
Oh, it's the wrong one. All right. Well, anyway. All right. Let me do it properly. All right. So.
World premiere.
September 1st. That's what I'm hoping for.
So the date that we're targeting for the moment, and we think we have a really good chance of hitting, is September 30th. So on September 30th, hopefully you will find a game that's going to be fun to play from day one. That will still see a lot of improvements. That is waiting for your feedback, waiting for your data.
All right.
And which, if anything, should really try playing as an evil character and see all the cool things that are going to happen to you, because it has an enormous amount of permutations, because we said the word permutations a lot. So September 30th for PC and for Stadia simultaneously.
Fuck.
Coming September 30th. Right?
All right. So you're saying it's going to be clipped out on Twitch, so you got to stick to it now. But all right, so end of September.
32 days late.
For early access.
32 days late.
I think the scale of what you guys are doing. When we first started talking to you guys about this earlier this year, I was like amazed how far along you guys were with the game, and then the fact that you're going to hit with this, the Act 1 content in 6 weeks is amazing. So I think we all can't wait to see everything that's in there. We've got a bunch of questions for you guys that we've been grabbing from the streams on Twitch and YouTube from fans. So the community conversation, you guys are always great about talking to the fans, but I'm just going to go through some of these for you guys based on what the fans are saying, and just get some reactions here from you.
Sven feels bad about it too. You can see it in his face. He's upset.
So let's just jump into them.
The 30th today.
The first one comes from Matthias on YouTube, and he says, "What have you guys done to preserve the D&D tabletop spirit in BG3?" What do you mean? What have they done? They've done everything. What a dumb question. Why is that the question that's through?
I mean, it's across the entire studio.
Why is that a question that made it?
Bringing it to life. So I talk a lot about this idea of being your DM, and that's really, really true. That's like that comes from the heart. We want you to.
Yeah, no, I hear you, man. I hear you. I just.
Not that we're just telling
the
story, but that you're playing it with us, and that's very, very true to my experience with tabletop D&D. And then there's all the people who are far, far smarter at this stuff than me, who are working to interpret.
I hate her. How so? How am I a hater?
Spells, classes. It's an incredible amount of work, and I just.
The question is, how do you make D&D tabletop essence to Baldur's Gate 3? I don't know. It's turn-based. They have over 40,000 lines of dialogue in one act. You talk to anybody who's dead. You have multiple companions that can be good or evil and romance each other without your fucking influence. How? What do you mean? How is it tabletop essence incorporated into the goddamn game? You're dumb. Go away. Pay attention. Fuck. I'm over it. I'm moving on.
You've also tapped into some very classic monsters.
I know. I just like
mind flayers, the owlbears, bullets.
You have literally three of the most important people in the entire game, and you ask that question? Fuck out of here!
In a game before, so this is already we're seeing something from classic D&D brought to life for the first time. It's great.
An owl bell
maybe I would like to add. Yeah. There's a very, very, very strong push and a lot of pressure actually inside the studio.
Oh, push! Where's it push?
Regardless of what choices they made, make sure that there's always something for them. And so when you put just said, and
I thought you said a strong bush.
Also making sure that all those iconic creatures and locations are coming into the game. When you put all of that together, you feel like you're playing, hopefully, a tabletop session with a virtual game master, and that just reacts naturally.
Like a good question is, how influential is the Blood War in the later stages of the game? That's a good one to ask, because that would tie right into a lot of the issues and
Next
criticism.
question comes from Twitch, and this is from the T-Boys. And this person wants to know, which I think is a great question, what kind of feedback are the most helpful for you guys from early access? What is the best method for gamers to share their thoughts and impressions with Larian? So how do you guys want people to, you know, they're obviously super devoted to helping you guys here. What's most helpful?
Okay. So just playing is already very helpful. So you don't have to do anything because we are, well, actually.
You like that question, really? Okay.
So
all right.
have to put back the ear because I can't with the armor. But just playing with, well, I still have the left ear, so I can hear you.
That's funny as hell.
Oh my God,
If you just play the game, and yeah, you're gonna be on the camera. If you click on yes, I want to send data to Larian. The only data you're getting is game.
And there's a button that'll pop up. So do you want us? What you talk about right now? Yeah.
That is already super helpful.
Yeah, that's what they want.
If you want to go further, there's a variety of ways that you can reach us. You can reach us on social media. You can reach us on our own forums, the Larian forums. You can reach us on the Steam forums. You just basically write your thoughts there. We will pick it up. We have a community team, and they're looking at everything that people are.
I'm a hardcore Larian fan, so I know how receptive they are to feedback, and that's my thing. Why I think it's a bad question. I understand that most people aren't.
Like, that was a great.
They don't know who Larian is, so
listen to that, and so that is a yes, that is a thing that you're going to a way that you will be able to reach us.
Yeah.
And in a much less professional sense, I lurk everywhere. I absorb your memes. I love them. Please keep giving them to us. You know, I watch you. I listen to you. But that's just
it's their personal forums, the Reddit forum, or there's a crash report.
They're looking at what's happening on Reddit.
And then in the early access for US2, after you played so long, it would stop you when you close the game. It goes, hey, take a couple minutes to answer some questions and give us your thoughts, and you send it off to them.
Popular place to talk about it.
It's super immersive and great for it.
From the Wizard. And Wizard wants to know, will you add more races and classes during EA, or is what we get the first day all we can try out? Great question about sort of how early access is going to evolve, at least from a content perspective. What can you share about that?
Okay, so yeah, no, classes are going to be added throughout EA. Companions will be added, races will be added, features will be added. So a lot of the stuff that we advertised is access, but there's more that we haven't advertised yet. And so you will see things pop in. And at the same time, you'll see the game change as we take the feedback into account, whatever the
I need more time.
To be, so I can't predict it up front. But you will see a lot of change.
I need more time.
If you want to have a litmus test of that or a point of reference,
I can't get all this done in 8 weeks.
You just try to play Original Sin 2 in early access as we released it, and then look at the game that it's now. And so all the change that happened to it, that's something you can have.
Less sleep, I guess, is the answer.
All the content that gets added to it also. I mean, like Original Sin 2, I think like every month stuff was being added. And so you'll see similar things happening with BG3.
This is stressing me out. This is honestly stressing me out. How much I have to do in 6 weeks before Cyberpunk comes out.
Romance options. What can you tell us about romance in the game?
Go ahead, Adam.
Oh man, it's it's gonna.
I don't want to say too much about them because you know we don't.
I'm so excited and happy,
romance is best
but I have to do Cyberpunk.
You don't want me to describe your romance to you. You want to experience.
You're right, Dylan.
Romance is
Delay Punk 2077.
The campsite gets a little bit hot at times. That's absolutely true. You'll discover some of it in early access, but yeah.
It's literally one that we want you to discover, but we actually went quite far in everything that we put in there, so people will find it as they're playing the game.
I had no doubt that you have literally everything, although this next question is a good one, which I don't know if you've thought of or it's possible. Victor on YouTube wants to know, can we pet the brain?
Yeah, with your thumb. You saw that.
That's okay.
I think Adam's the most natural, like, loose-feeling person on the podcast, personally.
Account. Can you pet the brain?
You probably will be able to tomorrow now, so...
I was going to say, you guys are listening. There's still 6 weeks.
I don't think he's very...
access comes out.
Okay, I see.
About backgrounds for the custom characters. So, tell us a bit about that. Like, how much can you pick or build out kind of a, background or origin story for characters?
I don't think he's
There's a
natural
different
on
backgrounds,
screen, but I
in the
think he's himself.
game.
Is what I'm trying to say. Like
So they have systemic
Chris and
benefits,
Swen are
which
socially
going to
aware
help
enough to
your,
know how awkward they are. I think
throughout the
Adam's
game.
just awkward
What
as
we
fuck and
didn't
doesn't
do,
know it,
because we did
which is
start
okay.
with it,
That
actually,
works.
we had backgrounds actually also give you a whole bunch of options. But then as we started implementing the dialogue, we actually had quite a lot of problems with that because folk hero, for instance, you got a tag option inside of a dialogue that says folk hero, and then the question from the writer was, yeah, but sure, but why are you a folk hero? What did you do as a folk hero? How did you get here as a folk hero? And so from the dialogue option point of view, the background options that were put into the game, we focused heavily on the classes and the races. And also the things that you've done and earned throughout the game. But we didn't put the backgrounds in there. But at the systemics level, backgrounds do have an impact across all of your classes.
Okay. So backgrounds don't matter.
Next question, you sort of hinted at this earlier.
That makes sense.
For Larian wants to know, have all the recruitable companions been revealed, or are there more to come? And will the roster be comparable to previous Baldur's Gate games? It sounds like there will be more added, right?
Yeah, there will be more. There won't be as many as the previous Baldur's Gate games because we put a lot of extra stuff on our companions if you compare it. Just the relationship, because we have when people will see and they'll start.
The question they're missing is, when will your protagonist be able to speak?
That are there, and how
That's a
far
question that we need to ask.
So there will be less, but there are more coming. As a matter of fact, Adam is working very hard on his, and that one.
That they've said it's going to happen, but you haven't seen it yet.
I will just shut up.
See, they just shushed him there.
No, I'm super excited about it. I would talk about it all night, but obviously I cannot.
Yeah.
All right. Next batch of questions here. And both these questions are about roles, and they come from YouTube and Clarion. Will there be a combat log that shows the roles occurring?
Yes.
And also, are there stats with modifiers that get added to dialogue roles? You can tell us about that, guys.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yes.
Okay, there you go.
All right.
Why is that a question?
Simple yes answer. I think that's good news.
Why is that a question?
All right, and then we've got Great. Okay. And then we got one more question for you guys.
Get out of here with that shit.
Let's see. This one comes from Robert Fulmer on YouTube, and he says, "How interactive will the world be? For example, could I shoot a chandelier and it fall on enemy?" Very specific example, but the idea of dynamic environments, emergent gameplay. You guys obviously are building an amazing
not just
systemic world, so I imagine there are some
VOD, bro. That's a D&D, bro.
What are the kinds of things we can expect in EA, or what are some of those opportunities?
Right.
Well, you can. I think I demonstrated that in the previous gameplay stream, actually. Oh no, I didn't show it. Yes, right. It was in another. So yes. No, I never showed it. Yeah.
D&D's for nerds.
Yes. So,
do you see these three?
So it's like, yes.
World premiere.
You can actually have a cool scene that we demonstrated to press at some point, and where that was literally the thing that saved the day in that particular battle. So and so there's other stuff like that that's coming in.
I want to quickly modify this to finish. Robert asked, could I shoot Larian and it fall on my enemy? It's very important to note that you can also shoot a chandelier and it falls on your friend. Very important to note that.
That's for you, Dylan.
That you can actually jump on your enemy.
That's for you, buddy.
Or a spider, you can just jump from the top on the enemy, and then just do damage to the enemy if you want.
Very authentic D&D experience.
100% believe Sat-Tues up DM to be a player for.
You guys have thought of it all. Well, I have to say, like, it's awesome that we date for early access, end of September. You're on the record with that. It looks incredible, right? Just the production value of what you guys have been able to do, especially, with that many dialogue lines.
I would say probably not. With things like Discord and everything like that being so popular now.
I can't imagine what's gone into all the cinematic stuff and obviously the gameplay.
More and more games go
more
and more away from in-game communications.
People jump in for 20 plus hours of gameplay is pretty incredible. So September 30th. On the record, we will see everyone, I guess, starting in hell for
there you go, buddy.
access
Come on in, join us.
And Act 1. Want to
The
thank
30th of September, Josh.
Sven and Adam
September
for putting this
30th.
stream together, and the whole team really.
My heart
Larian,
broke.
for the incredible work.
My heart
to put
broke.
things together.
I taped the
And
pieces
Chris,
back together. I'm back in a good spot.
Thanks for
It
joining
broke.
us as well. The one guy that wasn't in hell today.
It broke.
Having great fun on this, and yeah, this is a big moment for all of us that early access is coming. So, anything else we should keep in mind before we say goodbye here, Sven?
No, I mean, like, just
6 weeks, yeah.
go and stay tuned. Follow us on our
6
social
weeks.
media. It's coming for PC Stadia, September 30th. Be sure
Oof, that day hurts.
If you buy it, that it's something that you want to play, that you want to participate in. Otherwise, just wait until 1.0. It'll take some time, but when 1.0 is going to.
You could have measured levels of sadness worldwide that have been working out. Yeah,
I gotta say, it's
it hurt.
I've done a lot of live streams this summer, but I have to say you take the cake in terms of the setup and the
Look at his
fire
eyes.
and the armor.
Look at the delay in his eyes.
I don't know what happens after
I
the
keep
stream.
saying this
It's pretty hot.
This is just what. This is.
Look
just
at what they did to him.
Looks like. This
He's
is
a
not
fucking
what-
goblin.
Sven is ready for the feast. You can light the candles after, I guess.
The people who decorated this, the people behind the scenes, thank you to everyone. This is hard to do as well during these times. We are socially distancing, we are COVID compliant. It takes a lot of work to put this all together. Thanks to everyone who helps out with that as well. Really
Dude, you just ruined yourself. I thought that was your actual office.
Sending me to hell, guys.
I thought it was your
We're
actual
gonna
office.
give people something to check out. End of September. So September 30th, early access for Baldur's Gate 3. Thanks for watching the stream, and stay tuned to the Larian socials for more updates on that early access day.
They haven't fixed them
Baldur's
yet.
Gate 3. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Sven. Thanks, Adam.
Thank you,
Thanks
everybody.
for having me.
Bye-bye.
All right, see you guys soon.
Bye.
All right, we're good, right? We're good? Yep. There are this things hanging on, man. I appreciate it. So, at least 6 classes they confirmed. Monk, Barbarian, Paladin. I think and Druid are the ones that are out still. I think those are the 4. I haven't heard anything about Druid yet officially. I heard they were talking about it, but I haven't seen officially for Druid. Multi-class is not confirmed. Feats are expected by Chris Perkins. So I mean, like literally, is there a bigger boss at Wizards? All right, yeah, I was just gonna get out of here, man. I appreciate it. So, feats, yeah, I think feats are gonna happen. Yeah, there is a bigger boss than Chris Perkins at Wizards. Right, but I mean, like, as far as game development and content development. So, you may not know, Dylan, Wizards of the Coast put 3 people essentially as liaisons and in charge of the production value of Baldur's Gate 3 in their honor with Larian. And Chris is one of them. And he's the lead game content designer for Wizards, essentially. So, if he were to say, you need to have feats, which he just said, you have feats at level 4, it's the expectation. That's pretty much confirming it. He's banished. Why is he banished? Now ooh, interesting. When did this happen? Been reassigned to work on video games. He's been reassigned to work on video games for over 2 years now, though. That's bullshit. He's been working on Baldur's Gate 3 for over 2 years now. With them. That's been confirmed. So how I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it. That's okay. That's fine. I'm not worried about it. So, but yeah, Mike Merles, Chris Perkins, and there's one other guy too. But Mike Merles is like the lore guy. Perkins is like the game mechanics guy. And the other person I think is like theme, essentially. So I'm just saying, I think Chris Perkins saying, hey, feats need to happen. feats are coming, which is good. And then the darkness was amazing, dude. They lobotomized somebody, then pulled the brain out, and then stabbed the brain, and then made a friend. Like, incredible. Incredible, man. I'm excited you're getting hyped, Dylan. That's cool. Because you don't like games like this, usually. You don't like story-driven games. You have to upgrade. Yeah, man. It's going to be good. It's going to be so good. Uh-oh. What's going on here? It's going to be so good, man. Like, I don't think there's anything I'm actually, like, concerned about, essentially. Other than that, right? You're going to be a gift? So, I was happy because Adam, the writer, said he loves goblins. So, my want to be able to play as a goblin PC is possible now. Because I want to be one or two things. I'm either going to be a variant human, if I have to go with core rulebook, or I'm going to be a goblin goon. Goblin goon. Just because I think it'll be good content. Just gobbling it up all over the place. Yeah, I'm excited, man. That's good. That's real fucking good. All right, everybody. Thank you for coming by. I think I'm going to end the stream here. I'm going to go check on the kid. Make sure everything's good with the wife, because I'm supposed to be being a dad right now. It's my dad time. I will be back tonight in about 5.5 hours, hopefully. Somewhere right in there. I'm not sure what we're doing yet tonight. I was hoping I had this like little itty bitty lights gleaming in the dark, hoping I'd be playing Baldur's Gate 3 early access tonight. That's not gonna happen. So I have Battle Brothers to play because the new DLC came out. Among Us, I'm having a lot of fun with that. If my goon friends are still around to play, Total War's always out there in the air someplace. Yeah, we'll see where we're at. We'll see where we're at tonight. Dalen, thanks for coming by. Arthas, thanks for coming over from the D&D Facebook group. It's nice to have you. Harley, thank you for the hosting coming through. Chris, thanks for coming out. Whoever else, Josh, thanks for stopping by at work. Whoever else is in here lurking that I did not see, thank you for coming out. I will talk to you guys all later. Have a lovely rest of your day. Come back tonight at 8 o'clock, and we'll be streaming something, have some more good time. All right, everybody. Bye-bye. Thank you.